So Beth from Bliss Sleep Center in Southampton, Long Island. I'm so excited to talk to you, and I'd like to explain a little bit why. My first daughter was born, I have three girls. My first one was born in 2007. And my husband and I were so excited to have her, and we bought all these things to prepare for her. And my husband went out and bought a crib mattress. And I didn't go with him this time. I think I was too tired. And he came back and he was so excited about the crib mattress. And I said, well, how did you pick it? He said, I just told the store person, sell me the most expensive mattress you have, thinking the more expensive, the better. And then when my daughter was 4 months old and I was up late reviewing books by pediatricians and respected health organizations on how to take care of my child, I stumbled across a comment, a statement on well, maybe it wasn't in one of those books, but like an article. But I read that conventional crib mattresses can off-gas toxic fumes that may contribute to SIDS. And my daughter was 4 months old. It was probably 12:30 in the morning. I was so upset because I had never heard this before and I didn't know if this was true. So I panicked and wanted to wake up my husband to ask him like more about what he bought, but I didn't wake him up, and I just went online to try and research, is this really true? And it was very hard to learn more. And I think it took throughout a few years, whenever I had a moment, I did try and understand, is my daughter sleeping on a safe mattress? And probably for the first week after I read that initial statement, I probably spent all my free time trying to figure out, is my daughter sleeping on a toxic mattress that might contribute to SIDS? Is it unreasonable to throw out that mattress to buy a new one? And as I looked at organic mattresses, price points varied anywhere from about $250 to I think $550. And when you're talking about maybe the life of your child, there's like no amount of money. There's no limit on what I would have paid to protect her. And I just didn't know what a reasonable reaction was to what little information I could learn. And then in 2011, I came across a report by a nonprofit, Clean and Healthy New York. And the report is titled, and it tells you a lot, The Mattress Matters, Protecting Babies from Toxic Chemicals While They Sleep. And this just validated a lot of concerns I had. I wished I could have received that report before I had my first child, but it did validate a lot of what I had been piecing together, that we should think about what we're sleeping on. And you need to understand what's in between the layers of your mattress. And it was very helpful, even before seeing this report, to go to a retailer and be able to look inside different kinds of mattresses. So one kind of mattress will have inner spring in the core, and then have different layers of materials above, below, and generally around the inner spring. And those materials can be made, like conventional materials they can include vinyl, they can include other synthetic materials that are petroleum based. Yeah. And then the safer mattresses will be made of organic wool, organic cotton, and other materials. And another option is 100% pure latex. But it took so much work to understand, should I throw out the most expensive mattress my husband could buy at the time to then replace, and then what do I replace it with? Are we talking about when you have an infant, you're just always afraid. You're always, even if everything is healthy and perfect, you're still always checking on the baby to make sure everything is healthy. So it was just a horrible experience to learn in that way. And so I'm so excited to be able to talk to you more and have an hour conversation about mattresses and just help demystify what's a reasonable concern and what is, I guess, just what's a reasonable concern.
Right.
So I'd love to start by hearing more about you, your background, and how you came to open Bliss Sleep Center.
Well, I mean, my background was something totally different. I was in banking for 11 years. I was actually a VP in banking, and I helped people with their finances, basically small businesses and consumer clients, just helping them reach their financial goals. And one day I actually bought a memory foam mattress that when it did arrive, they had told us we would have to air it out within 24 to 48 hours. And when it did arrive, we opened it up and it sprung out, and all of a sudden you could smell these chemicals. And I knew they were chemicals because it was very, very strong smell. And right away I started to get a headache. And it just didn't sit. It was comfortable, but it just didn't sit right with me. And I was like, what is in here that would make it smell like that? And I mean, it lasted forever, the smell. So I kept researching, kind of like you. When I had time, I was like researching it and trying to figure out what was going on. And then as I learned more and more, I started researching further, and it became like this like addiction of mine. Like I was like, I have to figure out what's in these mattresses. So as time went on, I learned that there were healthier alternatives, but it was really hard to go through and decipher what companies were actually telling me the truth and what companies weren't telling me the truth online. It was very difficult. And who was using organic and natural as buzzwords, because really only a certain percentage of a mattress really has to be organic for them to claim that it's organic.
Right.
So
I think I'll just pause because I remember one time a friend emailed me a link to a crib mattress, a very fancy, beautiful crib mattress that her interior designer recommended and said, this is a non-toxic, eco-friendly option. And she wanted my opinion. And it was soy-based. So I looked into it and realized, unless it's 100% natural, it can be a portion petroleum-based. It could be 99% petroleum-based and 1% natural, and it could be labeled natural.
Exactly. Right now, there's a lot of hybrids out there.
Right.
And basically, the hybrids are, a certain proportion, a soy-based or some type of plant-based mixed with the actual petroleum-based products. Mm-hmm. And that alone, like I try to stay away from anything with petroleum-based materials.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so what are some examples of petroleum-based materials? There's vinyl, there's polyurethane foam.
Yeah.
They're polyester, rayon, right?
Yeah. There's 60 different chemicals in a petroleum-based product. Mm-hmm. So again, it is not easy to decipher exactly which chemicals are in those. We just know that there are up to 60 different chemicals, and the petroleum-based products are highly flammable, which means that they have to be sprayed with more flame retardants to meet the standard. So when you're buying a petroleum-based product, it usually has a higher amount of flame retardants, which is my biggest concern. If you ask me any concern on a traditional or conventional mattress, it is the flame retardants.
Well, the Chicago Tribune, did you see the series they published about, they did an amazing job reporting on chemical flame retardants, and that basically they were sort of an offspring of big tobacco. Yeah. And we know that they're harmful, and chemical flame retardants from mattresses and also other furniture can be released into our dust and absorbed through our skin So it definitely is something you want to avoid if you can.
I always tell people with the flame retardants, the best way to look at those is, when you go and sit on the couch or jump onto the couch or your bed, and in the sunlight you see it looks pretty, all the dust kind of dancing around. Well, that's what we're breathing in, and the flame retardants are actually attaching themselves to the dust in our homes. So I even tell people all the time, not that it's, part of my business, but I always tell people buy, the vacuums with a HEPA filter and stuff like that to limit your exposure to the flame retardants, because they're literally on everything, including our computers.
Right. Do you use an air purifier in your home?
So I use natural plants.
Yeah.
So we try to go as much natural as possible, and what better than to bring in your pure plants, like the peace lily, as a natural air purifier.
Yeah. I do the same, but I do have air purifiers too. I don't use all the time, but I think I'm always unsure. And then I have moments where I'll just sleep better at night if I turn it on for the kids.
Right. Oh, I can totally understand that. We open up the windows a lot.
Yeah.
We like to get as much fresh air as possible. Mm-hmm. Even in the middle of the winter, we'll open it, like that tiny bit of a warm day, we'll still crack open those windows to get some fresh air.
Do you think encasing the mattresses, say you have a conventional mattress, mm-hmm. and you're not in a place where you want to replace it or you can replace it, what are some precautionary tips that people can follow to minimize their exposure? I would imagine encasing the mattresses might be a good thing to do.
There are companies out there that will make a very densely woven cover that doesn't minimize all the chemicals from leaking out, but it will, if it can prevent 50% of those chemicals from, leaking out of the mattress, then, you're better off than you were.
Right.
I always say your biggest thing is limiting your exposure to the toxic chemicals. You can't always do 100%, but you can limit it as much as possible. And sometimes you can get something like that for, a few $100s, depending on your mattress size and stuff. So that is a very viable option, especially for someone who just purchased the mattress and is not in the financial position to replace it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I know we spoke about, you have samples, so we can maybe talk more about the components of our mattresses by looking at some examples of what healthier mattresses are made of. Because as we were saying earlier, it's what to avoid can be complicated because there's so many different chemical formulas to make synthetic fibers, and really you can call it anything. Maybe historically there have been labels like polyester or rayon and nylon, but a manufacturer can come up with a new formula and give it a new name, and it's just hard to know if it's safe. It might be, but it's hard to know, and many times it really hasn't been tested for the safety of human health. And then there's the complicated issue of unique vulnerabilities like fetuses, children, and adults. And so the healthier, I realized through my research, the healthier materials to look for it's a pretty short list.
It is.
It's organic wool, organic cotton, 100% natural latex. And it took me a long time to understand latex because I didn't really know what it looked like.
Yeah.
Did you have some samples of what it looks like?
So your natural latex, it comes from your rubber tree. They tap into it and they get the sap, kind of like maple syrup, how they tap into the tree. And it comes out in a liquid form. And they still have to do some type of processing to make it into a solid. But one thing to know is you want, when you're working with a manufacturer for a healthier alternative bed, you want to know what the percentage of that latex is, your actual pure liquid. So for us, And I'm going to try to make sure that you guys can see this. So this is Dunlop. So there's two processes to make the liquid into a solid. So this is your Dunlop, which it has been around forever. This, I mean, has been used in beds for so long. We've just gotten away from using it because it is a more expensive material. Now they've gone to all like the memory foams, and then that stuff makes a cheaper product. And it also makes for the mattress industry. They're really only making the mattresses to last 3 to 7 years, where your older materials, the natural materials, last longer, 10 to 20 years. So that's Dunlop. There's two processes. This is Talalay, so it goes through a few extra steps. It's actually reheated and flash frozen again, and reheated again, which actually takes out a lot of the like bumps in the material. So they give different feels. But one of the things you do want to always ask is the percentage of it. So your Dunlop is actually 96% pure liquid rubber. There is 4% additives. And your Talalay is actually 97% pure liquid rubber, and there's 3% additives in that. So there always has to be a little bit of something. You just want as little bit as possible. And that's as little bit as possible that they can do to still get it into a solid form. So it's like organic cotton is, you can have 5% additives even on organic cotton.
And what are the additives?
So I know that they add stuff like sulfate to it. There's actually, the process is usually online, and it depends on where they're actually getting the latex from. So every manufacturer is a little bit different. So you want to ask about that specific manufacturer and where they're getting their latex from. Again, if you're working with a smaller company, they'll know that information. But it's very little. There's no, there's really no VOCs added. You're only smelling if you do the Dunlop in your mattress. It's a slight rubber smell. If you do the Talalay, it's actually a sweet vanilla smell. And that's it. That's all you smell from it, and it's very light, and it actually smells good. I know when people walk into our store, they're like, "Oh, it smells good in here," and that's what it is. It's the natural latex that smells so good.
Okay, great. And so, what are some other samples that you have?
Okay, so so this is something I wanted to show, because this is this right here is your organic cotton. This is grown organically, harvested organically. Nothing is done to it. You can really see how pure it is. This is your green cotton, which a lot of companies will use to make a less expensive, mattress, which is a viable option, depending on, you want to ask specific information about it. But this can be grown with pesticides. It can have chemicals on it, but it is completely rinsed of anything. It's harvested, rinsed of everything, and there's no additional chemical processing done to it after the fact. So again, it will make a less expensive product. So for people who are looking for something very, very healthy, but they can't afford the organic cotton, this can be half the price, if not.
And what is the name of that again?
That's your green cotton.
Your green cotton.
So it's usually locally grown, but there are pesticides used to grow it. So
I was shocked to learn how many pounds, I forget, it's in my book. I think it's like a third. It was a tremendous amount. Sorry?
30% of the world's pesticides is used to grow cotton.
Yeah, I was shocked. So when you choose conventional cotton, you are in a small way contributing to this tremendous amount of contamination of our soil with pesticides. But it is so much cheaper. If
there are people that just can't afford the organic.
Yeah.
I always tell people you want to go as pure as possible. If you can afford the organic and look at it as an investment in your health, then go with the organic.
Yeah. So with conventional cotton materials, do you know if if there's pesticide residue by the time it is made into a mattress?
They are supposed to rinse as much of it as possible.
Yeah.
And the only green cotton like item I know that we offer through our manufacturers is fully rinsed, and the fabric on the outside of it is actually that very, very densely woven cotton. So most of that shouldn't be leaking out to begin with, and then there's no flame retardant stuff. So it offers people the option of getting something as pure as possible at a decent price point. But again, the less expensive the mattress, a lot of times you're kind of giving up pieces of the purity.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I did read that, and new studies come out all the time that kind of contradict what we thought we understood before. But I did read that exposure to pesticides from conventional cotton is probably relatively low. You'd be making the choice based on trying to be more planet friendly. But again, I felt with my child, I'd rather avoid the risk, because we learn new things all the time that contradict what we thought was safe.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And I mean, personally, I went 100% organic for all of my children's beds, for my bed. That's what I chose in the end. I mean, I went and visited factories and watched them make the mattresses to understand exactly what went into them, and really understand the process of what, really something that will be comfortable, that's going to be pure, that's going to last for a long time, so that my money was being used properly.
Right.
So I do agree with that. I'm just finding that some clients, they really want to do the right thing, but they can't afford to 100% do the right thing. So to have these other options is at least a good thing for our consumers that can't.
Yes, I agree. I feel like for those who can afford the choice that's healthier for both human health and the environment, it's great, and they'll attract more business competition. And if eventually, when there's enough scale for production, prices can come down.
Definitely. Only 1% of the world's cotton is truly organic from start to finish.
Wow.
So when I learned that, it really was something that I was like, oh my goodness, that's 1%. That's why everything is so expensive when it is organic, because you only have that 1%.
Right.
It truly is. And then because of the fact that the standards, even your organic standards, don't necessarily say that, only a percentage of your materials really need to be pure to meet the standards, is one of the, big problems too. So that's why it's very important to work with your smaller companies that disclose everything to you.
So are there industry standards for, well, I guess I have two questions. One is about certifications. Are there third-party certifications for organic mattresses? And then second, are there industry standards for those certifications, or does it depend on the standard of who's giving you the certification? Do you understand what I mean?
So, I mean, I know a lot of the mattresses we provide have certifications on them. But with that said, a lot of the time, I think it's very important to have those certifications on your mattress if you can get them.
And they're from objective third parties?
They are to a certain degree. This is one of the problems I have with the standards, is that a lot of times it's people from, for the organic mattress standard, there are a lot of people who make organic mattresses that sit on those boards.
Right.
So you do have to be careful about that. That's why I'd rather work with a company that, I just want to know exactly where they're getting their materials from, and what exactly is going into them, and how the mattress is being created. I would rather work with a smaller company that is, getting their organic cotton from someplace, and even if their mattress isn't actually organically certified, but they're getting their organic fabric from someplace, they're getting their organic, covering from, and they're all hand making that, I'm good with that too. Yeah. Because I do believe that not necessarily, it's just like your local farmers when you're going to get local produce, and you trust your local farmer because they're telling you that they're not using those chemicals on it. You almost trust them even more so than going to a store that has organic food there, because you know that sometimes that food still gets sprayed after it's grown, after the fact. So I try to I feel like you stay small. The certifications are great, and I'd rather have those certifications, but I'd rather use a company that I truly trust that is doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Even over the certifications, if that makes sense.
Because I imagine getting the certifications is expensive. I know for food, getting certified organic by the USDA is very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I would like, you can get so many different certifications. I don't know if you see this here. So many different certifications, just like on food. Makes me feel better to have the certifications on them, definitely. But you have to understand that this would be a whole nother episode, I think.
Yes, on labels.
Yes, on labels.
Are so confusing.
And then what standards they actually have to meet to be in that standard is also. But I think to me, probably the most important one is your global certification, because that is the most stringent one.
Okay.
So your global organic textile standard is your leading certification.
Okay, and I see that described for some bedding, like sheets. And I don't know about blankets, but I have seen it in catalogs, like major commercial catalogs.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest certification.
That's the highest standard?
By what we have seen. But now when you're looking at mattresses, that's on more of the fabric and the batting inside the mattress, where now you have the latex standard. And so there's a lot of, it gets very complicated when you start looking at the certifications and really reading into. When we first were bringing in our mattresses for our store, we, actually read like the global latex standard and all of that, and it's kind of like reading legal paperwork. Yes. It's kind of similar to that.
Yes.
But I definitely would feel more comfortable with those certifications on my mattress than not be on my mattress.
Yeah. So from what I remember in my research, components of the mattresses can be certified, right? Is there a certification for like the overall mattress, or do you just get certified for like the components of a mattress? Usually there's a core, and it can be inner spring, it can be just all natural latex. But if it's an inner spring, then you mentioned earlier batting. So batting is more like the support, the cushioning, correct?
More of your organic cotton or wool, or if you're in traditional, some type of polyester or something like that.
Okay. And then the core and the batting is wrapped in a material. And with an organic mattress, it would be organic wool or organic cotton. Would it be cotton?
So, yes. So some of the batting will be like this. Here, this is actually an example of a casing. So some of the latex mattress, a lot of the latex mattresses these days are like, this is actually would be a mattress here. It would be layers. It could be a full layer. It could be multiple layers of the mattress, and then you have some type of casing on the mattress. So this is just an example of your organic cotton on the outside and your organic wool on the inside of it. And that's all that, like a really good pure organic mattress, that's what you're looking at. Your latex, your organic cotton, your wool, and that's it.
And how do they stay together? Because I know in conventional mattresses, glues are used to keep materials together, and the glues can be a source of harmful fumes or threatening fumes. So with organic, like very pure mattresses, are glues not used?
Yeah, so most of the time glues aren't used. It's more of how they're hand tufted together because these mattresses are typically handmade. So they'll be, I have one of these. Hold on, give me 1 second. But
Sure.
let me first show you this. So some of them just use a zipper to actually hold everything together and then have your latex inside of it. Mm-hmm. So if you can kind of see that. Some of it, that's, they don't use any type of glue, nothing. It's just a tight mattress covering all over the mattress. This is just like kind of an inside of a mattress and outside of a mattress. I'm sorry, I'm just going to try to get this so that you guys can see this better. So this is like hand tufted. You can kind of see that there's no glues used or anything. This is actually a green cotton one, the inside of it. And this could be organic cotton, this could be green cotton, this could be wool. All hand stuffed. And then you can actually see this is, if get up a little closer there, this is your organic wool used inside of the mattress that's wrapped after the cotton is wrapped. And then they actually kind of see the ties and everything, they hand tuft it all together. So there's no glues used in that mattress. Now, some of your healthy alternatives, they may use certain glues, but it would depend on the mattress. We try to use stuff that doesn't have any. That's just all handmade. And you can, sometimes stuff can shift in a mattress that doesn't have glues, so you have to be careful that, it's being properly made.
Yeah. So, so going back to certifications, because we've been sort of examining the anatomy of a mattress, the potential ways a mattress can be constructed. I read that like maybe the inside the case, you call the material that wraps the inner components, the casing. So the casing can be certified, but that doesn't necessarily mean what's inside the casing is low toxic. Is that right?
Definitely. A lot of the natural or green mattresses now they're saying are organic when they do, like, it is only wrapped in organic cotton and that's it. There's flame retardants on them. Even some of the natural mattresses have, even some organic cotton inside of it, and they're still being sprayed with flame retardants. So you have to be really careful when you're talking to clients. There have been, I'm not going to mention them, but there have been multiple companies that have actually gotten in trouble for using organic certifications that were really not organically certified. And I remember when I was looking into some of these companies, I didn't understand how they could possibly be organic. Like, certain things cause red flags. Like when you hear waterproofing, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well, I needed a waterproof mattress because my, son wets the bed or whatever it is. And like when you hear waterproofing, nothing that's organic is really waterproof.
Right.
You do have the wool, like puddle pads where the water would puddle up on it, or, there's accidents and stuff like that, but it shouldn't be waterproof. Usually there's a red flag there. So there's certain things I know drew, red flags to me as I spoke to companies, or when I asked them direct questions and they wouldn't answer them.
Yes.
So explain to me what's inside your mattress, and they would be like, well, I'll teach you how you should sell our mattress. And I'm like, no. Tell me what's inside your mattress,
You kind of have to be an investigative reporter, I have found. And so it's really great to be able to leverage the research of someone like you, because it's very time consuming. And most people will not go visit the facilities of the mattress manufacturers. So how does a buyer, you can be interested in buying an organic mattress and it's certified organic, but we just said, just because it's certified organic doesn't mean that the inside is low toxic. What are steps a buyer can follow, or just key questions they should ask themselves or the salesperson to get comfortable that they know what they're spending their money on?
Well, the first thing I would say is, like, I tell people, don't buy your mattress over the internet. Like, I guess don't just buy. You need to, unless you're at least speaking to an expert over the phone or something, because you want to see the inside of the mattress, and also you want to make sure the mattress is actually comfortable. I always tell people that, yeah, you can go pure and organic and all that stuff, but make sure it's actually comfortable and you're going to enjoy sleeping on it, because you don't want to buy something that you don't actually sleep comfortably on too. I think it's really important. I tell people all the time, talk to your smaller companies. Don't go with people will call the bigger corporations, let's say they're green or whatever, and a lot of times they won't really get their answers, or they'll get someone who answers them that really didn't understand or know exactly what they were being asked. And I've had it even happen with myself, with companies I've used over the last few years, where I'm asking them and they're telling me something and it just doesn't sit well. And then later on, I find out that there was something that shouldn't have been in that mattress. So I think it's really important. The smaller companies, they know exactly what they're doing. They know what's in their mattress. They're trying to do it the right way, I have found. And they're much more comfortable with disclosing everything to you. So if they're comfortable disclosing it to you, and you can say, okay, explain to me exactly what's in the mattress, what percentage of it is pure, and the process, and they can tell you all that, and you're asking questions such as, what's the percentage of liquid latex in that in the core of that mattress? What are you using as the flame retardant on that mattress? If it's not your pure wool or organic wool, there's an issue there.
So there is a federal requirement, right? Like a flammability standard.
Yes.
And so generally conventional mattresses meet that standard through the chemical flame retardants.
Yes.
They just revised the law, and I think a material has to withstand a flame for maybe 12 seconds.
Right.
But it's that idea. And organic mattresses are able to meet that standard without chemical flame retardants through wool. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So we use the wool as your natural flame retardant standard. I have heard of companies using organic cotton as their flame retardant, but cotton is flammable, so I don't necessarily agree with that. I tried to investigate into that, and I couldn't get a lot of information on how they're really doing that, which kind of, again, brings up red flags to me that, there could be something else added to that to meet the standard. But I'm not sure, because I'm not an expert on, those the flammability standard and what's actually going to meet it. But I know the small companies that I do work with, they tell us that doesn't make sense to them, and that you really need to use your organic wool. So I feel comfortable saying if they're not using organic wool or your pure wool from New Zealand, or then there might be an issue with that mattress.
Yeah. Generally, with anything you're buying, whether it's food or a mattress or carpets, the only way to really get it's hard to know 100% unless you visit the facility and you see how things are made, and you understand that even through the transportation of a product from the manufacturing facility to the store, there's nothing sprayed. For a variety of reasons. But in general, you want to ask a lot of questions, and there's some smart questions to ask, and whether understand the answer you're getting. I think one thing to really assess is the person who's giving me the answer, do they seem to really know what they're selling? Do they seem to really understand the manufacturing process? Do they seem really like, are their values like mine? Do they really care about a low toxic product that won't leave a big contamination imprint on the planet? And do they seem knowledgeable about some key things? like what the mattress is made of, how it meets the flammability standard. And you're just always, I guess, kind of interviewing the sales rep, right?
Definitely, 100%.
Because disclosure is what has been so, what seems to be unfair or not really. It's not fair for the consumers. There's so much we don't know about what we're eating, about what we're sleeping on, and many other things in our home. So you just really want to work with someone, whether it's a company or a sales rep, who is giving you a lot of disclosure. You feel comfortable with the information you're getting. Right. That's how I ended up making my mattress decisions.
Right, definitely. And that's one of the reasons why I kept doing more and more research, was the fact that I couldn't get the people who gave me full disclosure were actually the companies I ended up going to visit, watching them make the products, and those were the products that I actually brought into the store, and products that now I use in my home, because they knew what they were talking about, they were able to answer my questions, and it made sense.
Yes.
Everything
just has to make sense. Yeah.
And then seeing it done, that even helped more so. So when I watched them like make everything, I already kind of had an idea after everything they had told me how it was going to work. But it was just good seeing that, especially now, to be able to tell clients, I've watched this is how it's been made, and it's cool to be able to do that.
Yeah. So how many facilities did you visit?
I visited 3 facilities. Mm-hmm. We only carry right now, well, at the moment, we carry 4 different manufacturers. Mm-hmm. One we did not visit. We only have a couple of their beds because everything else is U.S. based. One is Canada based. I haven't made it there. Mm-hmm. But they were able to offer a lower price point product for us, which was great for our clients. And that's why we did bring it in. It was hard to find. It's really hard to find things for lower cost in this industry, and we really try to be able to offer things at all different price points, all different comfort levels, to really help everyone.
Yeah. So. Before I get into some practical questions that I have about making purchasing decisions, I just wanted to wrap up with when talking. I hope that this discussion about what's in the casing of a mattress helps people understand why organic mattresses are more money, because they are a lot more money. I know that when I was looking at crib mattresses, if I went to a major retailer, I could buy a mattress for as little as $49.95, I think. And generally, if it's cheap, it probably is made of materials that may release toxic fumes or chemicals, and so that generally is a red flag, which is really unfortunate. Then once you decide, okay, I'm going to invest in a safer mattress, the price point, as I said earlier, ranged from $250 to $550 when I was looking years ago, and I still didn't know. I said to myself, I'm willing to spend the $550, which is ridiculous for a crib mattress that won't last 15 years, right? Your child will outgrow it. Right. I'm willing to do it if it means there's a lower risk of her dying of SIDS. And how likely is that too? It's hard to know, but I love numbers. And I was just, was trying to look up in my book quickly, numbers that helped me. And I forget a lot that I put in my book because it's almost 500 pages, but I'm on a page that it shows the MAC fumes. Like I can't really see it on the black page, but a study found, and it was a study that was sort of conducted by a organic mattress manufacturer, but in a conventional innerspring mattress, there were 39 VOCs identified. And off-gassing like over 4,000 micrograms per unit an hour over a 24-hour period, which like that that means nothing to me. But I just thought, okay, that seems like a lot for a little baby to be inhaling. And then a conventional memory foam mattress emitted almost 8,000 micrograms per unit an hour, I think, in the first 4 hours. And the organic alternative gave off 97.5% fewer VOC emissions during the same period compared to the innerspring, conventional innerspring option. And so when I looked at those numbers, that if I'm comparing a conventional innerspring mattress with an organic option, I would be reducing the VOCs my daughter might be inhaling by 97.5%, as an estimate. That really helped me decide it's worth it, because some of these fumes have been associated with being neurotoxic and affecting respiration. Mm-hmm. So I encourage listeners to, I hope we touched upon things to consider when you're evaluating a mattress to buy, because the materials and including the glues that might be used, and then treatment, there are like chemical treatments on the fabrics to resist bacteria, wrinkles, what else? Flames. Everything. And so also, like, if you see labels that say it's like antimicrobial resistance and wrinkle resistant, it should just raise question marks.
Yeah. So anything with wrinkle, like reducing wrinkles, especially on sheets, on clothing, they use formaldehyde, which is actually a known carcinogen. Right. And that's what they're using they spray formaldehyde on those. And right. What I learned about formaldehyde is it actually gets worse as you wash it. So
really, I read it could decrease by 60%. No,
I actually read that it can actually make it worse. I would have to reread that information, but I actually heard that it can make it worse, the washing it.
Well, it was shocking to me to learn that my sheets could expose my family to formaldehyde, a known carcinogen. So that's sort of what we're talking about when you're trying to decide, do I buy a conventional mattress, which can be much less expensive, or do I invest in an organic one? We are talking about cancer-causing chemicals like formaldehyde and a long list of other things, really. So I have some questions. A friend of mine asked me over the weekend, she has a son who is allergic to a number of things, including dust. And so currently they encase his mattress in something a physician recommended, but she just wasn't sure if there was an organic or a low toxic option. So do you know of options for people who are very sensitive to dust?
Yes. So there are companies out there that actually make organic casing covers specifically out of organic cotton. And it's all about the weave of the organic cotton for the allergies. Okay. Some other things I'd recommend when people come in with allergies is your pure wool or organic wool is actually naturally dust mite resistant. It's mold and mildew resistant. So it's
how would it naturally be resistant to those things? By the weave?
So the wool is naturally
resistant. The wool.
The wool, yes, okay. Not the cotton.
Okay.
The wool is naturally resistant because of the lanolin and the pure properties of the wool, as long as it's pure wool. And then your your natural latex is naturally dust mite resistant also. So that's just another thing I usually tell clients is if they're battling, obviously not everyone can afford the new mattress. So the casing, organic cotton casing, tightly woven casing would definitely help with that. And then you also have anything like organic wool pillows help. And your natural latex helps.
Okay. Okay, great. And is that available for sale on your website?
Yes. I have to just double check if we have the casings up there. I believe we do. If we don't, I'll add that to the website so they're up there.
Okay. And I wanted to talk to you about what's a practical choice for children, whether they're crib mattresses, and that's just sort of its own size.
Right.
But then for toddlers or not toddlers, but still young children who maybe still have accidents or they like bring water and spill water. There are basically lots of spills and accidents when you're dealing with kids. And the one mattress retailer that I've been buying from over the years, because they were the only ones who truly understood what's inside a mattress, is very expensive, and it's been very painful for me to spend more than I wanted to on my children's mattresses. And then I one time did buy just an organic futon because that seemed cheaper. And then I came across you in your store and learned that there's what appears to be a version of a futon for kids, and that it's just like a really thick, safe layer.
So your typical futon mattress is called a mattress because of the way it's obviously made, but also it's a 5-inch mattress, where we make like 6 inches to like 8 inches, depending on the client. But most of the time for a child, 6 inches is actually suffice enough. And it's made just like a futon mattress, kind of like that one that I actually showed before. It's actually made just like a futon. And that was the one that like you can get in your green cotton or organic cotton, but definitely recommend the organic cotton if you can afford the organic cotton. That would be one of the alternatives. The other alternative I usually suggest to clients is going with a natural latex mattress that's made for children, because you still want a medium firm feel for a child, for their development. What's nice about the latex mattresses is that you're getting a 20-year time frame out of your pure latex mattress. So what you're investing into it is going to last. Not only is it going to last through your child's life, but they're going to be able to take it to their apartment or to wherever they move when they move out, and still have a good quality mattress and not have to spend that money on that later on. Because you are going to, and it's a child, so that mattress is going to last for a long time.
What about when they have accidents? Does that affect the wool or the cotton? I mean, is there...
What I do recommend is, although they can be pricey, is your wool cuddle pads for those mattresses. And I suggest spending the money to protect the mattress. They do offer, and I know that we do have one up on our website that's like a food grade, it does have a waterproofing in it. It's not something that, like personally, I don't use it on my children's mattresses because I like to go 100% organic, but there are clients out there that want it for, those few years where their kid is wetting the bed or whatever. And so this was the safest option I could find out there, instead of them going just to buy, something completely conventional that has so many chemicals in it, This was the lesser of the evils. But I definitely recommend, I know from my son, he's in a crib right now. I bought a pretty expensive mattress, probably about $500 and something. And I use your wool puddle pad and a thick organic cotton mattress protector, so that it puddles up on the organic puddle pad and then soaks into the organic cotton if it ever reaches the organic cotton mattress pad to begin with. And I've never had an accident so far that actually leaked into the mattress. So far.
If it does, is it unhealthy? Does like the urine mixing with materials end up breeding bacteria, or?
It's not the best.
My 3-year-old sleep. I'm someone who, if I open my eyes during my sleep, I'm up for hours. So my 3-year-old came into my bed the other night. I didn't open my eyes because I'm so tired.
Right.
And then she peed on my mattress.
Oh,
and
that's an expensive one too.
And honestly, I didn't clean it up because I know I'm going to replace that mattress soon anyways, and I was too tired. And I'm just wondering, is this really, how unhealthy is it?
I mean, I would recommend like some type of steam cleaning for it. I'm sure the steam cleaning would help rid the majority of any of that. You know, I think that's
a great idea.
Best thing to use on it, because that's not.
What is?
I would just say that the steam would be the best thing to use on it, because it's not using chemicals, and it's using, you know, just natural steam to kill and protect. I mean, a lot of like, I know a lot of the mattresses out there, like my crib mattress actually has a zippered casing, so technically if the casing ever did get really destroyed, I could buy a new casing without buying a whole new mattress. You know, they do have that option depending on, you know, the company that you use. But again, we do offer that food grade, you know, protection for people who are really, really concerned about it and are only planning on using it for a few years.
That's food grade plastic?
Yes, it's a food grade. Hold on, let me. But it's a food grade polyurethane backing. It's not, you know, again, it's mixed with organic cotton, but it still does have, you know, anything that's waterproof, you are giving up a certain, you know, percentage of purity in it. This is just like an example of it, but it does have a lot of your basic certifications on it. For me, just because my clients were asking for it, again, I always recommend wool puddle pad and an organic cotton protector, because that's a double protection for your mattress. And usually that's been good for most of my clients. I haven't heard anything other than that's been good. But for my clients who are like really worried about it, then this was the only other option I could really find that I was comfortable.
I used the wool puddle pad too for years, and I mean, I think it probably depends on the child, but it's been effective for us.
Yeah, I didn't
know that I needed it in my own bed. But now that my daughter's climbing in all the time, I do.
See, for adults, I always sell the organic cotton mattress protector, which we have up on our website, and that's like a very thick, almost like a flannel, but thicker cotton. And I've noticed, like, if the baby has gone, I mean, it's not a older kid, but if the baby has gone to the bathroom in the bed, it hasn't leaked through to the mattress, or if I spill coffee on the mattress, stuff like that. I've never had anything leak through past that. And I use that for my older kids. I use that one, but for a kid that I would recommend using both puddle pad and the mattress protector, just to make sure.
Okay. I had another question. I forgot it, but I did also want to talk about the maintenance of these mattresses, because it's different, right? If you have, for example, I know with 100% latex, you should it's more important to flip and rotate. Is that correct?
It actually depends on the material you have. Okay. So your Dunlop, you do not want to actually flip, because it's one way, but your Dunlop is actually a denser material. So the denser material has less of any divots that will occur in it. And it's just a stronger, more durable product. You can flip like this way, you know, but not upside down.
Okay.
The Talalay, any Talalay mattress, yes, you can flip that upside down. Depending on the type of mattress you have, some zipper off and you can just flip pieces of it upside down. So it depends on your actual mattress, and usually the manufacturer will explain exactly how to take care of that mattress for you. But a lot of times you don't need to do anything, especially in the beginning, especially if it's an all latex mattress, because there's just a much more they're much more durable. And there's less of a dipping or indentation per se. So you don't have to be doing it like every 6 months.
Okay.
Unless it's something that's your manufacturer of that mattress bed, then I would suggest to do.
Yeah, the manufacturer of many of the ones we have recommends flipping and rotating every 6 months.
Okay.
Definitely allowing airflow.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So, like wood slats is a good platform.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I never thought about this, but they recommend a layer, like a wool layer underneath the mattress to prevent dust from.
Right. You can also do coconut coir.
Yeah.
The coconut bed rug.
Do you think that's low toxic, the coconut coir?
I think it's much more low toxic than a lot of your other materials out there. I know for some of your less expensive mattresses, they do add that in. I feel comfortable with coconut coir, depending on where you're getting it from and the manufacturer and stuff, as long as it's not sprayed with anything or anything like that. I'm comfortable depending on where it's coming from.
Okay. I remember what I want to ask you. Some people have a latex allergy. Do you think they would have if they have a latex allergy, should they avoid a latex mattress? Or
what I have found is people who come into me with a latex allergy, most of the time it's because there's some type of they're allergic to like latex gloves, which is a different process. There's waterproofing on those. It's just a different process. So what we usually do is we give samples to them, to their allergists, to take home, lay next to, see whether they have any allergic reaction to them. So far, I've actually found that there's a lot of people who have said, the majority of people who have come in and said that they were not allergic to this latex. Especially because it's not being put directly against your skin. The only thing that's directly against your skin is organic cotton. So it's just like wool. A lot of people are allergic to the feel of wool, but not actually allergic to the smell of it or it being, next to them. It's the touch.
Okay. So if you're also allergic to wool, it hasn't really been a problem because you're not really skin to skin. You have sheets over the mattress.
So there's a couple things with the wool. Most of the time it's a allergy to the actual feel of wool, which does not affect our clients. If there is a lot of the time, the people who are severely allergic to wool, and that's through the smell of it, they're people who have been exposed to mold. They had mold exposure and they're extremely chemically sensitive. So for those people who we'll give them the wool sample. They'll go to their allergist. They'll get a doctor's note that says that they can't have the wool in their mattress, and we'll actually make the mattress without the wool. So it won't meet the flame retardant, but because of the doctor's note, we are able to make that.
Okay.
But it's very, very small amount of people. I think in the last 3 years, I've had 2 doctor's notes so far.
When I was little, I had my skin would have allergic reactions to wool sweaters.
Yeah.
And I had very sensitive skin. I don't know if I just naturally built an immunity or if I am now around more pure materials. But I also now know that mothballs, which mothballs are often have a chemical that can cause cancer. It's just not good for you. Conventional mothballs. I think I don't know if it's naphthalene, which is in it. I have to look in my book, but it's in my book, the chemical name. But conventional mothballs can be toxic. And my mother stored all our wool sweaters with tons of mothballs. So now I'm thinking maybe I was reacting to what was on the wool sweaters, because we have wool blankets and mattresses, and I have no reaction. But everyone's different.
Yes, definitely, and that's why it's really important. That's another thing with the full disclosure. When you're coming in with allergies, or or you just want to know. A lot of times they will give you here are the samples of your mattress, here are your certifications, and you can go home with those samples, smell them, lay next to them, see whether you have any reactions to them, bring them to your allergist, everything. And that's how you're working with someone who, really does care about, the materials in the mattress and is trying to do the right thing by you.
Okay. Do you have any myths you want to break on, like with like greenwashing? There's so much greenwashing with many products, including mattresses. Anything you think would be helpful to share?
Oh gosh, I feel like there's so much, right?
Yeah.
I
think we talked already about like natural and organic doesn't necessarily mean what you hope it would.
Right.
They may still expose you to things you're trying to avoid.
Right. I think that there are so many companies. It drives me, the biggest thing that drives me crazy is people who will buy a mattress and be like, oh, I got this organic mattress. And I'd be like, okay, what's in it? And they end up telling me it's like a mix of all these foams or, but they didn't know it. And I think that's the most important thing to me is when you're working with a client, with a company, you want to make sure that you know exactly what's going into that mattress. It's important to have the certifications, but that they're showing you the materials that are in it. They're explaining to you what exactly is in it, and that that there's no additional chemicals added to it. So I think it's more of, like we were kind of saying, it's more of a comfort level with who you're working with, and that you feel like they're being completely honest and disclosing everything to you. And if something's not sitting right, then don't go with it. That's what I would suggest. And again, because what the organic certifications, there always is a percentage that can be, and especially with the mattress industry, there's only a percentage of the mattress that needs to be organic to be certified organic. So that's just something to think about. It's more important to me that the components of the mattress are all certified organic instead of the overall, mattress.
Well, Beth, thanks so much for taking the time to explain mattresses in more depth. How can someone find your store online?
So we're blisssleepcenter.com. They can find us there, and they have.
Do you ship all across the U.S.?
I do, and if they just have questions, they want to call and ask. I work with a lot of people, even on we'll do like baby registries and stuff. So I work a lot with just answering questions. To moms who just aren't sure about stuff, and I've already done a lot of research on it, so I usually can help.
That's a great idea to include it in a baby registry and have lots of people contribute to the purchase of it.
Yeah, we've been doing more and more of those, and it's nice because people can't always afford everything, and I'll even tell people like just put gift cards up there, and then you come in and pick out exactly what you want, or put it towards that mattress, or whatever it is, bedding, So.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again.
Great, thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.